But moving down to some coverage and prospects that we liked from last week, like the first thing I'll start off with is just Ike Young. And honestly, there's not really a ton to say about him. He's a right-handed pitcher from Monticello. He's a 2025 going to Illinois. Like I've talked about him twice now, I think, and he continues to just look like a guy. Up to 93 in this look. Curveball looked a lot better than I've seen it before. Struck out 13 guys, 3-sport athlete. Like, to me, he's one of the top prospects in the class, and he will only continue to get better as he gets older. Like, he has so much room for more to grow and polish. So that's really all I've got on him. Like, he just continues to look like one of the best in the class. So that's what I got on Ike Young.
Yeah, and then my best prospect was Davis Weeks. He absolutely shoved on Saturday, threw a complete game shutout while striking out 17 batters, allowing only 3 runners on base, 2 from hits and 1 from a drop third strike. Fastball sat 90-92 with arm side run. Velocity remained the same through the first 6 innings, settled down to 89-90 in the 7th. But getting that deep into the count and still hitting 92 is pretty impressive for what he's been doing. And then he mixed in a slider sitting 78-81 with sharp late actions that produced plenty of swing and misses. Also flashed a changeup that sat low 80s. Very confident on the mound, while also being a dynamic shortstop in the field.
Yeah, I was Dane, I was impressed with that video. Just seeing what he continues to do. Like, I know we've talked about it a little bit with him, but he just continues to get better on both sides of the ball, and he's done that for the past few years. He just keeps picking up, and it's awesome to see. So kudos to him.
I'll hop in next. For me, I was torn, but I'm gonna go Brandon Shannon here. Obviously, McHenry's got a nice handful of guys that I easily could have picked for this, but saw him throw Saturday against Jacobs, and man, he's good, and he's a winner. Like, to me, he's just a winner. Wasn't probably the crispest. I've seen his fastball control-wise, but like he was still running at 92, 94, holding it 90-92 still late into the 7th inning. Slider was probably the best I've seen from him, and I saw him a couple times last year. Saw him earlier this year, and like that pitch just continues to tick up. It was honestly a little unfair to the Jacobs hitters at times. Like, the fastball command or control was, pretty spotty, but he was able to just turn over that slider for strikes pretty much whenever he needed to, get an out pit or get a guy out anytime he needed it. Didn't see the splitter in this look, which I know has been a pitch for him in the past, but a lot to like with Brandon. I don't know what the future holds, if he's going to be at Louisville in the fall or if he's going to be with, an MLB team here this summer. But hope that's not the last I see of Brandon on the mound this year for McHenry. But if it was, man, what a career for him, first of all. And then just, talking to parents and administrators that came up to me, thanking us for being there, talking about Brandon. Seems like he's a great kid and has a really great reputation in the area as well. So kudos to Brandon, man. He just continues to look the part every time I see him.
No, and you had some tough choices there because Carver Cone, what he keeps doing, and did we call it out that he set the single season record for runs scored at McHenry, and he did it as a
I
freshman.
can't remember if we did. It's probably worth throwing it out there again, though.
Yeah,
if
so
we
he's
did.
a freshman at McHenry, and he already set the record for single season runs scored. Speaks to the amount of games and at bats he had. As a freshman, but to do that his freshman year, like I would think then he's well on his way to set the school record for, a career. That'll probably be coming probably sooner rather than later.
Probably like next year.
Yeah, exactly. But you also had like Landon Clements. I know I got some video sent over on him as well. He's a young sophomore, left-handed hitting middle infielder that we like. That's got some upside. And then I saw Montini and St. Francis. So no like guy that's just like, wow, it's the top, Brandon Shannon, top 10 player in the class. But shortstop Drew Church for Montini, he had to be up there for me. There's a couple like, Nolan Galla's probably in that mix for St. Francis from the game I was at. And I thought James McGrath, a sophomore for St. Francis as well, could be in that mix. But like Drew Church, The frame is the first thing that you notice when you walk to the field. Like it is exactly how you'd want to draw it up from a projection, high waisted athletic standpoint, and then the way he plays shortstop. Um, he's a guy that if I went over to like the Kane County Cougars or something to watch a minor league game or a double A field, like, and Drew Church was out there playing shortstop, I wouldn't blink an eye. I wouldn't think twice. The actions are that real. It's easy. It's confident. The arm plays really good across the diamond. Like it's a no doubt shortstop moving forward. He was also on the barrel a couple times in that game. Like really impressive look at Drew Church. I think there's way more to come there too. And then James McGrath is a sophomore outfielder for St. Francis that is strong, athletic, and plays center field and plays it well. Threw an absolute dime right on the catcher at home plate to nearly nail a runner. It was a bang bang play, but really impressed me with the arm strength, the accuracy, the release, even just like the way he attacked the baseball in the outfield. That's a guy to definitely follow in years to come. But Drew Church, James McGrath, probably my two best prospects from that game I was at.
And one thing I wanted to add, because I saw this come through my Twitter the other day on Brandon Shannon, is that he also broke the wins record this year for McHenry, which was previously held by Bobby Miller. So pretty cool to see for Brandon Shannon there. But looking at uncommitted watch, guys, right-handed pitcher Tyler Henry from Tolono Unity. He's a 2026. I just saw him on Saturday against Ike Young. Smaller frame, but pretty repeatable, athletic delivery, pretty up-tempo, works pretty quick, but his fastball was up to 88. Compact arm, higher slot. Off-speed was not like super polished, like the curveball wasn't completely there. It didn't have like sharp actions as much, but definitely a lot to work with, I think. And the velo held throughout. It was like 84 to 88 throughout his outing. And he pitched, I think, 6 innings maybe, but just an uncommitted guy to know. I know he was at the state games last year for us, but he didn't pitch. So I was pretty impressed to see up to 88, and just the way that it worked. I like the operation, things like that. So uncommitted right-handed pitcher Tyler Henry from Tolono Unity.
Yeah, I had Tanner Wigan from Eureka, 2025. He threw a complete game shutout on Saturday in the sectional finals against IVC. Mid-80s arm, mixing a low 70s curveball that he went too heavily in the later innings. Just uncommitted 2025 that's still in the market that's going to be available and people can see this weekend in Champaign.
And then moving down here and looking at our best starting performance on the mound. What do you guys got here?
Yeah, I have Aiden Terrens. I saw him last Wednesday. UIC commit. He threw a complete game while striking out 13 batters, allowing 1 earned run, 3 hits and 2 walks. He broke a 20-year record at Sherrard as he picked up his 131st strikeout on Wednesday to claim the single-season strikeout record. Low slot lefty, fastball sitting upper 80s, topping out at 90. Mixing a slider that was 76, 79 with depth and late actions. Also showed a low 80s changeup that played towards the bottom of the zone. Just a really interesting arm and a good get by the UIC Flames.
Yeah, for me, Brandon Shannon again. Just to give you his line this time, he got the win. 6 2/3 innings pitched. Only gave up 2 hits. Like I said, the fastball control was a little spotty. Did have 4 walks, but 11 Ks. And only gave up 1 run. It was unearned, but like the 11 Ks, and he really started to get a bunch of strikeouts. It felt like towards the end of the game. Like it wasn't like he just started off hot and was ripping off 6 or 7 strikeouts for the first few frames. It was really he started getting going towards the end in big spots. He's getting big strikeouts and with guys in scoring position, and it was a tight game. It was 1-1 until that 6th inning. So yeah, Shannon for me was a no doubter here.
I'm gonna jump in with Nolan Gala. He got the ball for St. Francis. I would say he's primarily an infielder, just an athletic infielder, but clearly competes and battles on the mound. Put together a strong performance for St. Francis. He went 6 2/3. He was 1 out away from going a complete game. He gave up 6 hits, 1 earned run, 6 walks, and 5 Ks. Like he battled traffic throughout the game. and consistently had to come up and make big pitches and big spots and get some help from his defense too. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but Nolan Gala, like, just battled, competed, athlete, when it came to the question of like best overall prospect I saw, like he probably would have been in that mix if I got to see him play the infield. And I did get to see him hit, and it's really, really interesting at the plate as well. Like, it's twitchy, athletic. He's got bounce and spring to like his overall game, even the way he is on the mound. Like, it's a lot of effort. It was impressive just to see him go 6 2/3 and like kind of hold his stuff, hold his I wouldn't say like command, because he kind of was scattered throughout the game, but just continued to battle. And he's a nice little number 2 arm there for St. Francis, because it was mid to upper 80s as well.
All right, and then what do you guys got for your underclassmen spotlight?
I have outfielder Jaden Barrage from Geneseo, 2027. Got to see him Wednesday night against Morton. Projectable 6'2" frame, physical right-hander with a pure whippy swing and easy power to all fields. He connected on a line drive in the first inning to the left center gap for a double. And then his next 2 plate appearances, he worked walks. And then his final, he connected on another hard line drive, this time to right field for a single. Just an interesting 2027 power bat to keep an eye on up in Geneseo.
I was all in on that video, Dane. So I will see, like, for everybody out there, Gavin Smith is the guru behind this podcast as far as editing it, putting it out. I would love to get an overlay video of Jaden Barrage and that tweet you put out, like, on this YouTube if we're able to, and put more work on Gavin's plate. But regardless, like, go check out this social post. Jaden Barrage. It's Burrage. Because the frame, it looked every bit of like 6'1", 6'2", and athletic with more to come. And then the swing was really, really athletic as well with bat speed, and multi-sport guy, if I'm not mistaken there, Dane. For some reason, I feel like he was a football guy, but maybe I'm just making that up because it looks like he could play linebacker or safety.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
I don't know if I put a social post, but the video is definitely in his profile on PrepBaseball.com.
Got it. Maybe you just sent it over to us. So yeah, great little call out there. PrepBaseball.com. Go to his profile. Videos are in there. Good stuff though. That guy, like, as far as, it was even part of our hot list this week. Like, you'll see our hot list story come out from a national perspective. Like, hey, breakout guys from the spring. And we put the lefty from Farmington, Gavin, in there. And I know we threw some other guys like Anthony Cardilano, was a huge breakout candidate for Brother Rice. But, like, Jaden Barrage right there as well. Like, we had not seen Geneseo this spring. Finally got our eyes on him. And a sophomore that looks like that definitely kind of, like, popped as a high follow.
We kind of touched on this earlier, but mine is going to be Carver Cone, number 1 player in our 2028 class. And I think the refreshing thing from where we sit is every time we go out and see him, he looks like the best player in the class. Saturday was no different. The way he moves in the outfield, it's so athletic. It's so clean. He's a switch hitter. Saw him exclusively from the left side this time, and like I love the swing. It's so handsy. It's loose. It's athletic. Thought he was more aggressive in this look than maybe I've seen in the past. Now, he's a leadoff guy, so most of the time you kind of want some patience up there. But man, he was jumping on good pitches in the zone. Early in counts, wasn't, waiting until, hey, I'm down 2 strikes to, start getting going. So, had 2 hits, but man, just continue to be impressed by Carver. Drew shouted out Landon Clements as well. He's a 2027, another left-handed hitter for McHenry at the top of that order, bats in the 2 spot, plays second base for the Warriors. Another guy to keep in mind going forward.
And I kind of mentioned James McGrath already for St. Francis. So don't need to get into him too much, but he hits like 4-5 hole for St. Francis, kind of right in the heart of that. Really good order. Really liked the lineup for St. Francis. And he's a big piece of that, adds some thump in the middle of that order. But one name I just wanted to shout out was freshman third baseman Chase Gregonis for St. Francis. So I don't know how much playing time he's gotten on varsity. But with Nolan Gala being an infielder, he started on the mound on Saturday, so it opened up that infield spot. And Gorgonis ends up playing third. He gets DH'd for, but it's a long levered, like 6 foot lean frame with plenty more to come. And had really advanced actions for a freshman at third. Like had to make a tough play in game, handled it with ease. I liked just the way he carried himself out there defensively for a freshman. Um, so those are my kind of two underclass spotlights. But Chase Gergonis, we'll need to see him swing the bat, obviously. But what he did, and like, I just think he's a guy that's going to be able to stick on the infield moving forward. And in the Midwest, like, it's not easy to find prospects that can actually stick on the dirt, at that next level, college. And he's only a freshman. So those were my two call outs there.
All right, and then what do we got? So we got a couple names here for best defensive play and defensive/defensive prospect.
So Wednesday night when I was at the Geneseo Morton game, in the top of the seventh, Andrew Brooks, who was in the center field, made an outstanding diving catch into the left center gap. Ethan Galloway, another 2027 from Geneseo, connected on a hard drive, and Brooks ran it down and made an outstanding catch. To prevent any bleeding, there's when Geneseo was trying to add more insurance runs, and he prevented it. Brooks was just really all over the place during that game for Morton, so just a little shout out for him.
And mine wasn't really a play, Gavin. I just watching the whole St. Francis Montini game. The one thing that stood out to me, because there were multiple opportunities, was just how good the infield defense was for both teams. I typically am not coming out of a high school game saying that. It's typically the opposite, but I was blown away by how many opportunities there were and how cleanly they were handled by both teams. And to just give a little shout out here. So like for St. Francis at third base, they had freshman Gorgonis. Shortstop is Zach Meduja. He's a senior. I really like him. I think he's going to Saint Xavier. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Anybody that wants to look it up. But I was getting really good run times on him. He played a really good shortstop. I like the look. He leads off for St. Francis. I had a 4.15 in his first at bat and on ground out to third, and then a 4.40 on a turn on a fly out to right in his last at bat. But second baseman, and Tyler, you may be able to pronounce this name better than me, but Ian Bagaconza is
That's what
right?
I would have said.
Yeah, he played
I think
second
so.
for them and played a really good second base. Had a couple like tweener hops that he handled with ease. So really liked what St. Francis had to offer on the infield. But then Montini, I already mentioned Drew Church playing shortstop. They have a freshman, Cameron Cox. I saved him for this. I didn't put him in my underclass spotlight, but like, he's playing second base for Montini, and he and Drew Church up the middle were fun to watch. We've talked about some double play combos across the state, whether it's like Natanic and Colin Campbell for Brother Rice, and there's some others that are really solid.
Gavin Michaels and
Beatty.
Man, I'm blanking on his.
Yeah.
Kyle Beatty. Yeah.
Beatty for Normal Community. I was just thinking like Brady Holland and Joey Ireland for Mount Carmel's pretty solid as well. I know there's some others out there, but really like Drew Church and Cameron Cox. Like Cameron Cox does not play defense like a freshman. It's really, really steady, and they made a couple really nice turns. And then Julio Ayala is a sophomore left-handed hitting third baseman. Could probably play all over the infield for Montini, but like, I loved his pregame infield. It was clean, but with actions and crisp, and the arm can play from multiple slots, and he played with ease and comfort and confidence. And then that carried over to the game as well. Like, just really, really good infield play. So, like, shout out Montini, St. Francis. You guys got some guys that are going to play infield in college.